What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Butter the Great. In this video, I figure let's go take the world's best handling and loudest TRX in the world for a drive, because at the time of this video, no one else has the sway bar, because quite frankly, the kit's sold out ever since I published the video, and no one has the QTP exhaust kit that I have because I was the first one to get it, and they're not made for public yet. So look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Let's take the TRX out and let's see just how good it can do with this sway bar. So I already got the camera installed at the bottom. I don't know how good this camera is. So we'll pick that GoPro up right there at the bottom. But let's go get some epic driving footage with the world's best handling and loudest TRX. Let me do a cold start. All right, so let's go ahead and open. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I got my black and red key. Woo, that truck good looking. Let me get back a little bit further. Let me get back a little bit further. Let me get back a little bit further. Let me get back a little further. So I'm gonna let some heat get to the engine real quick, and then we're gonna take this truck on an abandoned highway, and let's see how good this truck handles, and do some 117 pulls. Right.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. My posters say now, I've been humble too long, yeah. Tell them all to stay calm, yeah. Tell them all to move on, yeah. My posters say now, they be lost in the sauce. Took a loss.
As you can tell, you cannot really hear anything with these exhaust cutouts open right. Now, I've said in other videos that the noise cancellation in the TRX is pretty good, to where the stock exhaust, you can barely even tell it's even there, right? But with these exhaust cutouts and they're in full open, oh, you hear nothing but the cutouts. So that's why it's kind of hard for you to hear me in this clip. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you some of the things that I was saying in this video. These suckers are very freaking loud. There's a lot of drone to them, but the sound is so intoxicating that even with your windows closed, the sound just sounds so good. Then once you roll the windows down and you really get into it, man, like I just love driving in sport or Baja mode. Baja mode sounds insane with these cutouts. Like it just holds a gear, then it does like aggressive downshifts. Like if you got a TRX and you got exhaust cutouts, run Baja and just see how crazy this truck sounds. To hold a conversation, the beautiful thing about this kit is push a button, it closes, you go back to stock, and you can have a full-blown conversation. You can go back to hear the supercharger whine. If you done with all that crap or don't want to talk to your passenger or your wife or whoever, click the button, open the exhaust cutouts to full, and you literally can't hear anything but the sweet sound of loud exhaust. So for me, the only time I have my exhaust closed is either when I'm having my son in the back seat, since he's 2 years old, so I don't want to you know, drone his ears out, or if I'm trying to hold a conversation on the phone. But any other time, I got these suckers full open and they just turn heads everywhere I go now because it just sounds so crazy. Especially when you do like a shift around like about 6,000 RPM right there at red line. You get that alarm, boom, boom. It just sounds so crazy. I mean, you have to be there in person to see it. Now, I'm gonna probably film like another little video about the exhaust, comparing the decibels between how loud it is open and how loud it is stock. So that's probably the next video I'm gonna have probably sometime next week. So be on the lookout for that one. Like I might have to be the first TRX for harnesses because you cannot stay planted in the city. Now, let's get on to the sway bar. The TRX from the factory does not come with a rear sway bar. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why it didn't come with one, but I'll say most likely the number one reason is they wanted to beat the Ford Raptor's articulation limits. So they had to make it more capable off-road. Now, why does it come with electronic disconnect sway bar? I mean, that's a pretty good question. Maybe they was going to do one, but then they was like, even with the disconnect, instead of give better numbers in a Raptor, but hey, there's some other questions I would love to ask the engineer. You know, why the TRX did not come with a 507 horsepower mode like the Hellcat did, right? I mean, and then why I cannot change any of the settings for the drive modes. If I go into sport, I can't change anything in sport. It has to stay strictly in sport. If I go into Baja, I can't change anything out of Baja. I can't change the suspension to be like sport in Baja mode. Like even in custom, you can't do all kind of changes you want to. So I want to know why in the world is the menu there for me to change all the drive modes, but I can't actually change the drive modes. And even in custom, there's still some things I can't customize, right? Like I said, there's a lot of things I would love to ask an engineer. I mean, they probably never do it because I only do it for like big people like TFL, but whatever. But back to the sway bar. Now, it makes a dramatic difference in how the TRX handles on road. It handles and feels way more responsible without a question. I mean, I've been running around doing like 117 pulls, doing curves here and there. I had no wheel hop. It's very controllable. You can make last second maneuvers and don't feel like you're about to fall over. I mean, I've never driven a Trackhaul or a Durango Hellcat, so I can't compare it to them, but it kind of feels just like my 2016 Hellcat did, right? I mean, there is some body roll now, but it is very controllable. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be another mod that would dramatically change how the TRX feels. I mean, sure, you can add 200 horsepower and lose maybe, you know, maybe like a quarter of a second on your 0 to 60, but you're still gonna handle pretty freaking spongy. So to me, this mod right here is probably like the most dramatic change you're probably ever gonna feel on this particular truck. Yes, you can lose a quarter of a second adding more power, but this right here is something you're gonna feel every single time you turn the steering wheel. I mean, there's no other way to describe how much more control, how much firmer. Well, not really that the ride quality is harsh, but just you just have such confidence going in corners now that you know that your rear end is not gonna go spinning out if you do something stupid. The only things I would say about this sway bar is it brings out the flaws of the TRX, right? Now, I'm going to say number one flaw of the TRX, even without the sway bar, is the brakes. I mean, the brakes are horrible. I mean, if you drive this truck just normal, everyday life, you're fine. But once you start driving aggressive, do a stop here and there, do some performance driving, the brakes are horrible. I mean, there's just no way to describe just how weak these brakes are, right? And I know some people are gonna say, well, the brakes are great, blah, 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 blah. Come take a ride with me and we're gonna see how much you're gonna tell me how much you like these brakes. I have reached out to other companies like Brembo, Bear, and all them, and they saying that, oh, well, Ram brakes are pretty good from the factory, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, hey, come take a ride with me and tell me if these brakes are up to par, right? This is a big 6,500 pound truck with a heavy Hellcat engine in the nose. And I do not understand how every other vehicle that has a Hellcat engine has a better brake than the TRX, right? The Challenger Hellcats, Brembo brakes. The Charger Hellcats, Brembo brakes. The Durango Hellcat, Brembos. The Demon, Brembos. Super Stock, Brembos. The Red Eyes, Brembos, right? The Trackhawk, Brembos. Like every single vehicle that has a Hellcat engine, except for the TRX, has a step up in braking. Now, it's not to say that the Brembo brakes are the end all be all and they're the best. Just because you had like the biggest rotors in the class, or they claim, you still gotta have stopping power, right? There's going to be some other things that are going to be done that help stop this, because since none of these other companies want to make a brake kit for the 1500, I'm just saying there should have been more time taken to ensure that the braking for a truck this big, this heavy, and this powerful can stop better. Because I mean, literally in 10 minutes, you can cook your brakes and you can't really stop. And that's literally anybody with just stock 700 horsepower. I can't imagine people adding, another 100, 200 horsepower, going to like 800, going to 900 horsepower with these stock brakes. Like I said, I don't think the Brembos are like the answer, but I mean, there should have been other things taken or other things done to ensure that we can stop, right? I'm not saying we should have carbon ceramic, rotors, but maybe we should have had carbon ceramic pads, right? Maybe we should have had stainless steel brake lines all the way, into the caliper, right? Maybe, Goodyear could have made a software compound that's good for brakes. Cause there's a lot of things you can do. Better compound tires, better brake material, stainless steel lines, different fluid. So that's gonna be some of the things I'm gonna do on my TRX to see if I can make it stop better than what it is. Because I mean, even after doing a couple of launch control launches, you do a few of those and you gotta be pumping in order to get your damn truck to actually do the launch control right without breaking loose. So over the next few weeks or months, I'm gonna try to figure out ways I can make the TRX stop better. Just like I was saying, upgrading the tires, upgrading the pads, going to stainless steel lines, changing the fluids out. So I'm gonna see if I can get it to stop first, because I wanted it to stop first before I add 200 horsepower to go to like an 800, 850 or a 900 horsepower kit for my TRX. So let's get it to stop, and then we can add the power. Now, the second thing I would say that this sway bar does to bring out another weakness of the TRX is the seats. Now, don't get me wrong, the seats are very comfortable. They got some bolstering, but now that you can take corners, you're gonna be flying all over the place because you cannot stay planted in your seat. Now, I'm not a very big person. I'm only like 5'8". I'm like 200 pounds. So I'm not like 6'4". It's kind of hard for me to stay planted in my seat when I'm taking like a spirited corner, right? Now, I'm not gonna hold this part against Ram, because, I mean, who would have think that a truck this big, this tall, with this much power would be a very good canyon carver now with this sway bar. This sway bar, like I said, adds so much drivability to the truck in ways you probably cannot imagine unless you actually jump into a truck that has one. I wonder, any of you guys who've done like off-roading, I know a lot of you went out a lot. I know a few of you guys have done like off-road courses in it. So I'd like to know, if you guys have done off-road courses, how did you stay in your seat? Because if you're doing like real tight turns or whatever off-road, were you able to stay in your seat, or are you holding on to stuff? Because I would love to stay planted in my chair, because to me, it's a night and day difference on how the TRX drives and handles, right? And then the boot, I don't hear no more excuses by anybody saying that, the lean is normal, blah, blah, blah. My lean is gone. Full tank of gas, I ain't got no lean. And then when I'm at a quarter tank of gas, I might be like a 16th or 2/16 off. Now, I put weight on one side, I'm gonna even the other side out, because that's basically what a sway bar does. Gosh, I love this mod so much. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Everything you do, like I said, make this channel grow. And until the next time, I got a few more tricks up my sleeves. Just saying.